Well, hey everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 27th day of July, 2023. Well, as promised, if you were here on Monday, I said I would tell everybody what happened with the trappings so far. So far, Monday night, Tuesday morning, whenever it was, when the trapper came back on Tuesday to check the traps, there was the mother and one baby in one, which he didn't think we'd get the mother. I guess it's hard to get the moms. They're pretty crafty. They're smart, and we had two in one trap and one in another, and so he took those away and left some traps, and then Tuesday night we got another one. And so I think my husband wasn't sure if he saw three babies or two, and they can have anywhere from up to five. We don't know yet. I haven't heard this morning. My husband hasn't come back in, and the trapper's not here yet to check the traps. I don't know if we got any more last night. Maybe that's all there are. We kind of thought we got them all the first night, but then we were proven wrong, and we ended up with another one. So far, three babies and a mom have been relocated elsewhere, and so we'll see. Hopefully we don't get any. We didn't get any by this morning, and we won't tomorrow. And then they'll pull the traps on Friday. So anyway, that's the latest. I couldn't believe we got the first night, because he really didn't think. He says, "I don't want you to get your hopes up on the mom." So we weren't, and then that happened, and we were like, wow, we were blown away at how successful it was. So, good decision, I guess, to call these folks and have them send their trapper guy out. They only have one guy that does this. He's licensed too, so it's good decision. At least we can maybe stop worrying about the chickens so much. I don't know. Maybe you never stop worrying about your chickens, because there's always predators somewhere around here. We had an eagle sitting up, a golden eagle sitting up high, watching them. We've had hawks. We had a little hawk, little small hawk about yay tall, in the coop one day. My husband got it out. It ran into a window on our porch and like stunned itself. I'm like, oh my God, you've killed it, But no, I took the end of a broom, and I just kind of gently poked at it a little bit to see if I could, and it got up and flew off. So, like, but it was in my coop with my chickens. And so anyway, so we've had all kinds of, we had a skunk attack them one time. I mean, because skunks will do that. I mean, who knew? I had no idea. But hopefully we've got a little reprieve here, for at least for a while, for our poor birds. So anyhow, let's see. Let's stop that. It's my 7 a.m. wake up that I forgot to turn off. Anyway, let me make sure my volume is up here. No, it's not. All right, that's better. Anyway, let's get started and take a look at the Elder Futhark rune for the above side of things. We have Nathis. Nathis is a Norn rune. It's the friction within to manifest. It can be used to bind things together, but basically, it's the runa. The three Norn runes. You've got Hagalaz, which is the rune of the past, Isa, which is the rune of the present moment, and then Nathis would be the rune of the future. So that's the whole idea of the friction within, or the inner fire, to set goals, to manifest those goals, to create positive change, and all of that. So that's a positive way to start out this morning. Let's take a look at the Geomancy runes, though. Here we'll throw down the 4 elemental ones and see what we get. Oh, no. Okay, that's going to be Rubeus. Yeah, it's going to be Rubeus. Rubeus, not the best rune. That's Albus. It's complement. Let me find Rubeus here in the bowl. Oh, there it is. Okay. Rubeus is considered an evil rune. I don't, but it can be the misuse of force, so I guess it could be. But it's the kind of rune where, the kind of energy where it's more diabolical, with a diabolical intention, when you're misusing force to control people, to deceive people. So there's that element today. So there, if you're looking at Nathis, though, you want to manifest from a higher perspective. And so hopefully that's enough to control whatever ego-driven nonsense is off the rails or something today. It could be that you need to deal with someone else that's that way. Or it could be, you could have a situation, say you're dealing with, I see a lot of stuff these days about insurance companies denying things that in my opinion, they shouldn't be denying. And people are having to contend with that sort of thing. So that would be, you're dealing with that higher purpose. You have that, trying to manifest that need to deal with this company that doesn't want to be honorable. Okay. That wants to make it, you have a life and death situation that they don't want to cover. It's like, well, what do you mean? You covered it yesterday. Why don't you cover it today? It's that kind of thing. And so it's kind of like the David and Goliath kind of experience, where the nobility is trying to win over something that's harmful. And so that would be Rubius. So we'll begin with that kind of idea here. There's probably a lot of different ways to look at this. It could be controlling that within yourself. If you're someone who's given to manipulation of others or deceiving others. And we've been kind of dealing with that. I know we dealt with all that last week, where it felt like it was an extension. We have so much smoke around here. It's crazy. Hang on. We have so much smoke from the fires that are surrounding us. We don't have anything. Well, I think the Warm Springs fire is still going, and that's north of us, but about an hour away from us. It takes about an hour to get that way if you're going that way to go to Portland. It's the reservation that's right there, and reservation land, and they just have really, really, dry areas, and fire tends to really move quickly in that area. When it does, it can affect your ability to even get down the highway. And that highway, of course, takes you over Mount Hood and then on into the Portland area. But anyway, that's what we're dealing with. Plus, we've got a pretty big one in Southern Oregon that's the smoke gets blown this way, and it just hangs. And oh Lord, you can't see anything, and can't see the hills. Just hills you can normally see perfectly, you can't see them at all, and they're just down the road from us. So we really get enclosed here with smoke, and it just hangs. And I think it just has to do with the type of area we're in. But anyway, let's just get these cards done here, and then we'll see where this is going to go. If the Rubius aspect is something external you're going to be dealing with that you need to overcome, or if it's the need within to overcome something that you're challenged by yourself. So let's go ahead and cut the deck. See how long my voice lasts here. Well, we have one from 3 different suits here, one from swords, one from cups, and one from wands. I think that we're going to look at this. Let's see, 5, 7, see, 6 and 5 is 11. Boy, I want to leave that alone. And then 2, 12, 13. So 4, about your foundation and structure, physical life, respite. 4 can be respite. But we've got an 11 here, and I think I'll think about it. I'll think about how I want to see that. But let's go ahead and start with the 5. The 5 of Cups. Here we have a man in a black cape. He's got 5 cups around him. 3 are on the ground. They're turned over. You can see the contents are spilled out. 2 are behind him upright. You see a little river or creek right here. You see an arched bridgeway there. You see a small castle over here, which is likely his home. We'll just assume it's his home. 5 is about change. It's about protection. It's about innovation, freedom versus restriction. But here you've got some disappointment that's happened, some emotional disappointment. Cups is the water element, so that's our emotions. It's also about change and momentum and compassion, healing. But it's almost like, his head is bowed. He's upset. Something's maybe happened at home, with his home. Maybe he's because he certainly seems apart from it, doesn't he? You can kind of see a line here. Doesn't really look like the two lines that are together in some of the tarot cards, but you can see it right here. It actually starts, if you look really, really closely, over there, and you see that dark line. He's really, anytime you see that, you've got two different things going on, and whatever's going on this side of things is separate from what's going on in the back. It can mean that you're dealing with problems that are away from the situation itself, but there's a sense here of forced change to me, where he's bereft and he's upset over something that's happened, that he's lost. Maybe he lost the home. Maybe he can't live there anymore. Maybe something has happened, but and some changes happened. But it has to do with I mean, whatever it is it's emotionally upsetting to him, and so much so that he can't see the strength of emotions behind him. They're upright, so there's a sense of strength there. The ones that are tipped over, not so much, right? And so he can't really see that. He can't really draw strength from that, to understand what emotional strength he still has. So his back is to that. So something has changed, and again, maybe something's happened in the life where, if he's got a family where, maybe his job has taken him, he's no longer has a job or something, and so then comes the two of wands. Wands is the fire element, so you're looking at creativity, motivation, the spark of inspiration. But here he's standing on top of either a bridge or the top of a building or something. You see the lilies and the roses here, with new beginnings, new possibilities. You're looking at still with pretty much every staff you see in the suit of wands here in the Rider-Waite. You're going to see little leaves, little branches starting to form on all of them. That indicates that there's still life there, unattached to, because it was a tree at one time, so it's no longer attached to its life force. So the life force is coming from somewhere else, right? It's coming from higher awareness. It's coming from spirit. But here he needs to make a decision. Whatever's gone on here, the change that's happened here, that's left him bereft and unsure of where to go and feeling emotionally insecure about the future. Here, on the other hand, he stands atop whatever this is. We'll just say the top of a bridge. And he's almost created a doorway here. One staff is affixed. You can see it's affixed right here to this whole facade or this little, it's not really it's just a small just sort of like a small wall, it's not really anything that's protecting him. But he's also holding his other staff here. He's holding a globe in one hand. He looks like a man of means. He looks like a merchant. And it's almost like he's here creating a new life for himself. He has to make a decision. And you see the globe in his hand. It could come from anywhere. That expression, the world's your oyster, that always comes to mind when I see this card. That, he's looking out over the expanse of the water there. You can see that. So there's a bay right there, and when you go to the Three of Wands, then you see him turned the other way. He'd be looking in this direction, and you can see some ships down there in the water. And so it's like he's whatever decision he's making here in the Three of Wands, he's waiting for that ship to come in, and for whatever he decided to come to fruition, essentially. So here so far we're at we have a 7 numerology between the 5 and the 2, and there you're looking at observation and bringing things back into balance. It's also the number for spirituality. It's the number for witchcraft, manifesting anyway. And so when you look at Nauthiz, the rune for today on the Elder Futhark side, the as above side, it's possible that whatever's going on here, which may reflect Rubeus now, that could be something where a misuse of force, a misuse of his own inner power has left him, emotionally in trouble, right? And especially if it cost him his job, for example. And so now there's no money coming in for the family over here. And again, we're assuming that's an assumption on my part. So then the inner need to manifest, the inner need to succeed, to deal with this, we come to the 2. And so it's possible that we can put Rubeus above the 5 and Nauthiz above the 2. Now, I'm not convinced, though, that we shouldn't be looking at this before we look at the 2. Here we have the 6 of swords. Swords is the air element. So that's going to be the intellect. It's going to be reason, balance, justice, communication, interaction, truth, deception, honor, dignity. Although you could say dignity is also with fire. But here you have a man who's ferrying his wife and child across a cold river. You can see there's ice everywhere. You got a little bit of water visible here. You see the snow on top of the trees here in the distance. This is a winter scene. The mom and the child, I've got the capes up over, I don't think the child has a cape up over his head, but the mom does. And they're huddled against the cold, huddled against the wind. They've got their swords, their 6 swords, all of their plans, all of their new strategies, all of whatever it is that they're taking with them on this journey across the water. So there's a little bit of emotion here. It might be emotion-based that prompted it, but they gathered everything that they have, and they're going to a new place now to be able to manifest something new. And that's why I say it could come after the 5. We could say, well, as a result of this, they got it together and they are moving on to a new area in their life, a new place in their life, a new home. Another way of looking at this, with the air element and swords, is perception. They're taking their beliefs, their perceptions, their ideas, all of that to the new place, and so that they can then maybe go and make a decision about their future. But I think that I'm going to leave it as it is with the 5 and then the 2 and then the 7, because after that decision is made, then they move on. I mean, if you look at what the man is wearing underneath that cloak, it looks like a tunic, very similar to this tunic here. So you can draw the conclusion that after he's understood what he's done, possibly, maybe that's the Rubeus influence of his own making, something of his own making has caused things to be emotionally insecure and upsetting. He's got some loss here he has to deal with. Now, the kind of the fruits of his own behavior. Now he has to make a decision about his future. And part of that decision then is to go somewhere else. He has to relocate. Now, as the 6, again, this is a shared journey with the family. 6 can be about empathy. It can be about assistance. Perhaps there's assistance on the other side of the water where they're moving to. Perhaps there's some assistance there for them. But clearly there's been some kind of situation in this particular reading where either the misuse of force by somebody else has caused something to change in this guy's life, or his own misuse of force has caused the problem and caused the upset, and he feels bereft, and he feels lost, and he feels like emotionally insecure over the future, and so that's a big change. And then we draw in Nathis to then the friction within to manifest something new, which he's doing here. And again, he's got all options are available to him here in the Two of Wands, and that's evidenced by the globe in his hand. All options are available. So it's not that doors were closed by what he did, but you've got him in a completely different setting from here to here. So something's changed. He's had to move to a different place. Maybe he's had to leave the home for a while in order to gather, his wits about him and make the decision he needs to make for the future. And he's doing that here. And then from there, that takes the man and his family in this journey over water, basically, where, things are smoothing out for them. And the decision that's been made is going to, perhaps there was some outside assistance in this. But they're gathered together and they're going toward a new and better future. Likely if there's an element of perception in here, the shift in perception was his, where perhaps he's no longer engaging in the Rubeus behavior that possibly got him here. So it's just simple cause and effect, really. If you're going to get in the way of your own success, Rubeus is the type of energy that's going to do that for you. And then we need to go into a higher level of belief structure, a higher level of awareness to be able to understand the bigger issue here, which is that you need to create some kind of security for your family or be part of that process in any event. Because these days it's more than one parent that helps with that in terms of the family. Usually, it's not unlikely that both parents work, and so if one person, the husband or the man or whatever, it doesn't have to be man and woman coupling. It can be whatever your structure is here. It's just that with this, that's what it's showing. But you've got maybe one person in the family, one breadwinner who's done something and gotten in the way of all that, and has made the realization that he needs to figure it out. But again, if you're looking at a partnership of a different sort, then you can still see it that way. One adult in the relationship, in the family, has done something to impact the rest of the family, and now something has to shift in that person to understand it. And it takes a and since Rubeus energy, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is very self-reinforcing. You see people that are like this, and they will tend to get in their own way every single time and not understand that they're the ones doing it. They feel self-righteous enough that it's always somebody else's fault, right? That you're not cooperating with me, it's that sort of thing. And when everyone else is like, yeah, well, why would we? They don't see the error there. And so it takes the friction within to consider something else, to manifest something else. And Nathis is, as one of the Norn runes, I just give the Norn runes maybe in the Elder Futhark a little more power than the rest of them. So this is really higher awareness or soul awareness coming in and saying, look, this can't happen anymore. You can't continue to act this way if you expect to be successful. And if you have a family, to then bring that home to them and have increased material security for your family. But then he makes the decision to choose something else, and that's the thing with the self-defeating behavior with Rubeus. You don't get anywhere, at least not anywhere that's honorable. And here he's just risen to the occasion, being higher up than the rest in the scene. He's risen to the occasion, and he's understood that he's gotten in the way of this now, and a decision has to be made, which then takes them into a whole other place to live and to succeed in. And again, typically I look at this card as a shift in perception that's significant enough that can take you somewhere else, a whole other place of being, basically. And that would be what you'd have to do if you got out of that whole Rubius mentality, where you're getting in the way of yourself and the agenda is so personal that you can't see the needs of others within that. It's all about you. There's deception involved, and eventually, that's going to come back and bite you. It always does. But to get out of that, you need some real. You need to really do some soul searching and figure out where you're going from here, and if you have a family, how that's going to impact them, and do you need to actually then either physically go somewhere else like the family's doing here, or at least shift your perception enough that in truth you go somewhere else, even if it's not leaving home to another place, to bring the emotion out of it. So much of the time, Rubius energy is emotion driven, the emotional need to control things in a way that doesn't serve other people. So that's an interesting one. Understanding the cause and effect of your own actions. So here, I don't think Rubius ended up being the actions of other people. I don't think it's like in the example of the insurance company. I don't think it's the actions of other people. I think it's something that has happened where you've had to make a realization that when you behave in a way that's controlling of other people, that's not in anyone else's best interests, including your own, you're stepping in the way of any kind of success that is real and consistent and repeatable. It's really moment driven, whatever your needs are at that moment, and that doesn't really serve you in the long run, and it doesn't serve anyone else either. So you get it together with not these, and you use that energy to manifest something new, and which is essentially a shift in your own which reflects, I should say, a shift in your own perceptions to something that's more harmony based and family based, being able to think about other people instead of just yourself. So that's interesting, something to think about. If you're struggling with something like that in your life, just understand that Rubius energy is the lower vibrational ego type of energy, and it's only going to get you so far, especially if you have other people that love you and need you, and you need to be part of that family structure or what have you, and make a positive contribution to it. That type of Rubius energy is not going to get you there. It's the type of energy where you have one parent that's off doing his or her own thing, and at the expense of the family, and because that's part of Rubius, it always insert at the expense of something else, right? That's the kind of energy that is. So it's very lower vibrational, egoic type of self-possessed type of energy, and it again, if you're successful at it, it's self-reinforcing, and you don't need that. Your family doesn't need that. Your partner doesn't need that. If you have that, but at the end of the day, you're not going to have that if that's the type of energy you live in all of the time. And again, that type of energy, the ego is very reinforcing. It's like the devil card, where you're being a slave to desire instead of and into that present moment where I want, and it's not really, you don't really consider anybody else in it. It's that type of being a slave to that sort of, and a slave because it's self-reinforcing. So you're caught up in it and you can't release it. You can't get out of it. I knew a woman like that one time where she was just all for herself, and it was obvious, and it affected every aspect of her life. Interactions, I mean, totally inappropriate, no boundaries. I mean, it was just, you just watch in horror the train wreck that's happening, didn't care who she hurt in the process. And it was stuff like that. And, it's like, ooh, let's not know her. And so let's go. And so, yeah, she was just somebody that we had nothing to do with, because we saw how she was. And that to me is Rubius energy, a perfect example of it. So caught up in her own thing that she didn't care the impact it had on other people and what it did to other people. And so it's getting in the way of yourself, but it's so self-reinforcing that you don't know how to get out of it. And again, you need to use that inner fire, that inner friction, to think about another way of being, to shift your perceptions to a more positive, inclusive, understanding cause and effect, having integrity, all of that, and leave that other stuff behind. So that's how I think we'll look at this. With the 5 and 6 is 11. That's the master number 11. That's why I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that numerology here today. But I think that we can look at the two as decisions. The decision to either be enlightened with not these, and the master number 11 is about enlightenment, it's awakening. And it's about spirituality. It's to go in that direction, and shift your perceptions in that direction. Maybe we could say it that way. So that would be the decision. That's why I hesitate to do an overall numerology when I can find a master number here. I would like to leave those alone. 11, 22, 33. Those are the three master numbers that typically come up in things. And it just has that higher soul energy. I don't want to do anything with that. I don't want to add that to anything. I just want that to stand on its own. And I think that that's probably the energy of Nathis here. So, and the type of higher awareness that you need to work your way out of the Rubius energy and all of the behaviors that are associated with that. So that could impact your future. So anyhow, I think we did it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming by. If you haven't yet clicked subscribed, I'd love you to do that. Check out the blog, Stepping Aside. That web address is imsteppingaside.com. If you click on more below the video, it'll open a little window that has some stuff in it, and the web address is right there at the top. If you forget, the week ahead is coming out. That comes out on Sunday nights, or early Sunday morning, I should say, in the midnight hour. Let's see, also correspondences for work and magic for the week will be coming out as well. And Exploring Tarot, this next time is going to be the 6 of Pentacles. I have a little bit different take on that than traditional interpretations see that card positively. I don't know about that. I just think something else is going on there, and I talk about it. So anyway, just my opinion. So anyway, that's going to be coming out on Sunday. Check that out. I write that stuff also gets published over on Substack, Medium, and Patreon. So if you want to follow me over there too, you can do that too. That'd be cool. And, hopefully there's no more raccoons outside. I don't know. We've got 5 acres and it's a perfect environment for them. So you never know. I think there's only one family, but maybe we've gotten them relocated and they're no longer here. So yay. Thanks for watching. And come back again on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.